Welcome to the channel. My name is Ashley Brianna Eve, and today I cannot wait to talk to you about dispelling one of the biggest pet peeves I have in the human design space. And this goes for any design. I find that the online space is filled with individuals that do not have proper training in human design and don't understand the mechanics. So, what ends up getting passed around a lot are a lot of catchy phrases, which end up leading people more and more off track. So, we are going to address one of my biggest pet peeves, and that is regardless of design, that when you're following strategy and authority, it feels good. We hear this mostly targeted towards generators and manifesting generators. However, it's rampant for all designs. Like you're going to feel good. You're going to be drawn to it. You're going to be excited about it. You'll be lit up by it. Life will be easy. Robert, who never said that you following your design was going to get you what your not self mind wanted. And he never promised that it was the fast track to easy. What human design does is gets you your life back. It allows you to live your life and get the things that are meant for you, which also includes resistance and limitations and hard times. This is not the cosmic lottery, as he called it. And that's where I'm always so specific when I work with people in human design or astrology that you can't grip it so tight that you drown with it. You would rather drown in the not self in control, gripping your identity around human design and astrology and gene keys rather than release, surrender, and open up the possibility that who you think you are is not who you are. And how you've been making decisions, no matter how long you've known human design or astrology, might not actually be following strategy and authority. We need to have an open mind as we go into it and understand the nuance of what is it when the monkey mind is making decisions from the not self, because the open centers are going to be spokespersons for the not self. So when is it the monkey mind driving us because we have this great idea and we're attached to the outcome and we have an agenda with it? That would be the generator approach or the manifester. Like you have this great idea that you're initiating because you think you should do this to, for example, prove you're good enough through the undefined ego, right? It's not about that. It's not about the monkey mind. It's about surrendering to strategy and authority. But herein lies the problem. It feels good to make decisions from the monkey mind. It feels good to make decisions from the not self because it gives us the illusion of control. It gives you the illusion that if you just control and force and contort enough, that you'll get what the mind thinks it wants. And we are addicted in our society to getting a certain result. We're addicted to what the mind thinks it wants because we are raised in a society that puts a lot of value on the mind rather than in the body. And if we look at from like applied polyvagal theory as well, and I talk about this all the time, even something as simple as carrying stress and tightness in the body is proven by science now to disconnect the mind body vagal nerve, which is your information highway, which allows you to actually rest and digest, which actually allows you to get out of cycles of burnout and stress and fight or flight. But not only are we conditioned to live in the mind, but we live in a society where we don't move enough. We're not stretching. Our bodies are tight. We have so much stress. So it's not even just society that's pushed us into the mind, but actually the tightness in our body that's pushed us into our mind. And then we take on information such as human design or astrology or gene keys, and we're like, oh, this is perfect. If I just follow these rules, my life will be perfect. If I just follow these rules, I will get everything I want. And where so many people find me for mentoring and coaching is they realize, crap, I actually didn't get, like, I got what I thought I wanted, but I didn't get what my soul wanted. Like, I got the result, I got the money, I got the accolades or the partner or the this or the that, the car, the house, the boat. But man, I'm more miserable than before. And herein lies the problem because the internet is telling you that if you're following strategy and authority, you're going to be excited, you're going to be lit up, it's always going to feel good, things will be easy, just, life is good. But that's not actually true. When we look at the awareness centers, so the And whether they're defined or undefined, we all have fears, my friends. So it's not as though if you have it defined or undefined, it's you either have fears or you don't. We all do. The expression of it's going to be very different, and how it impacts you and your design and your decision making authority is going to be nuanced and different. Okay. So I just don't want you to think, well, I have a defined splenic center, so I guess I don't have any instinctual fears. I'm all good there. No, no, I'm sorry. So what we want to look at is you have your instinctual fears, your survival fears from the splenic center. You're going to have your mental fears from the ajna, like an uncertainty. And you're going to have your emotional fears, your nervousness with the solar plexus. Now, let's use this chart as an example with the defined sacral. This is a manifesting generator. They have an undefined splenic center and an undefined solar plexus. This person, when they're making their sacral decisions, might actually have, so if they're following what the online spaces told them, they might be under the illusion that, well, I'm just supposed to be really lit up by things. I'm a manifesting generator. This is Joe Alwyn's chart. I'm a manifesting generator. So I'm supposed to be always lit up by things. This is single definition. I'm making decisions fast. I have a million ideas on the go, right? That's how I'm meant to be. And then they don't understand why they keep quitting things. They don't understand why things just never seem to work out, right? Or they never finish these projects. And a lot of people online are conflating ADHD with being a manifesting generator because of this. When in reality, always being lit up and moving so fast that you're just saying yes to things without embodiment, without actually checking with the sacral, it's just the mind, because you're so conditioned to try and prove yourself maybe through the open ego, or you're just so conditioned to move from pressure through that undefined route. That's not alignment for you. And what a being such as Joe would have to come to terms with is that an actual sacral yes, when you are making aligned decisions, you're likely going to have fear. For him in particular, the two biggest areas are going to be the solar plexus, which is going to be those emotional fears, that nervousness, like he's going to make a decision and be like, oh my goodness, this makes me really nervous. And, you know, the online space told me that I'm supposed to be really lit up. So this must be the wrong decision because I am so nervous. And there's the splenic center. There's going to be true fears of, like, quote unquote survival there. And it could be survival of purpose. It depends on your unique chart, but true fears around survival there. I have some clients with the undefined splenic center or open splenic center where they're like, that can be paralyzing at times. And that is most of the work we do, is unwinding the fears around their splenic center and the fears of survival. And especially undefined, the story there, what might be happening is the undefined splenic center not self is holding on to things that aren't good for them anymore because it's comfortable, it's familiar. So they're saying yes to things because they're excited or because it's familiar or because, you know, it's comfortable, not because it's actually right. And the underlying fear there is a deep sense of fear of survival. Now, the reality is with the undefined or open splenic center, just the splenic center, the streams of awareness in general, and the awareness centers, is the splenic center actually recognizes the reality that survival isn't guaranteed. I mean, this is very instinctual, animalistic, right? The splenic center. So it understands that survival isn't guaranteed. So there's that actual fear there of, holy shit, survival isn't guaranteed. There's an awareness there, an awareness center. Survival isn't guaranteed. So there is that fear of dying. And that can be a very real fear that's paralyzing people and creating self-sabotage patterns, right? This is also something to keep in mind. The splenic center, the fears, they're not insecurities. Because the reality is the splenic center is aware that it can happen. It is a possibility. So it holds on to the familiar, it holds on to the comfortable, and you're making these decisions from this place of, you know, I'm lit up by it. I'm really excited about it. I have attachment to the outcome with this chart. It's going to help me prove myself. I'm not going to have to trigger anyone with my undefined solar plexus. I won't have to let go of what's familiar with the undefined splenic center. So you're making decisions that, sure, maybe to the mind lights you up because it feels safe, feels comfortable, feels known. But really, if we peel it back, a being with he has an open splenic center and undefined solar plexus, why they're actually not following strategy and authority truly is fear of dying, instinctual fears, and nervousness, emotional fears. But here's the thing, this individual here, you're always going to have that to some degree. You don't get rid of fears. Fear is not bad. Everyone has fear. It's instinctual. We're meant to have it, right? But this being needs to understand that they are always going to have that when they're making aligned decisions. Always. That doesn't go away. And the online space saying that you're just always lit up and it's always perfect and always exciting is exactly what is going to hold this person back. It is exactly what's going to cause more not self patterns for this person. Because they are always, as the monkey mind, the not self mind loses control, going to have survival fears and emotional fears, nervousness. And it's going to be more nuanced based on their chart, but I just want to give you an idea. Now, the Ajna has fears as well because there's no certainty, yet the Ajna want especially undefined Ajna, right? The undefined Ajna, the whole not self is trying to be certain, trying to fake certainty. But there's that fear there, and those are mental fears. You might even call them anxiety. So this is Jennifer Aniston's chart. So this being here, when she's following strategy and authority, remember, when she's following strategy and authority, there is going to be mental anxiety over those strategy and authority decisions. There is going to be emotional anxiety over those strategy and authority decisions. That's just the reality. Now, it might be she is trying to make decisions for work. So let's just go, it is Jennifer Aniston. And let's say that she's trying to make decisions. She's a splenic authority, we can see here with the 57 to 10. She also has defined ego. She's a single definition. Say she's making decisions from work, trying to produce results through the undefined sacral. So if I take on all these things and I do all these things, I can produce these results and get a certain outcome. Like I can then be the go-to actress, or I can then prove that, with the undefined sacral that I can handle the workload, or I won't trigger other people because, I've taken on a certain job and I don't want to make the Sony or the Disney execs upset. So I'm going to take this on. I can show them I can do the work with the undefined sacral and I won't trigger anyone. Like, keep people close. I don't want to upset anyone. And, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings if I turn down this role. So I'm just going to take this role. And it's the wrong role for her. But it's all these fears, right? This fear, these mental anxieties, it's these emotional anxieties. And then, of course, the undefined sacral, the productivity, taking on that work for the wrong reason rather than following her splenic authority. And no matter what, when she follows her splenic authority, she's going to have mental fears that are amplified, it's undefined, and emotional fears through the solar plexus. Our fears are always going to be the awareness centers. How it's expressed is going to be unique to you. I only do this work in my one-on-one, the Shadows offer. It's a one-on-one deconditioning and embodiment offer where we do holistic human design. And it's truly deconditioning. I do not do one-off offers for human design because really all we're doing is giving the not self more power. So the not self's like, yes, ha ha ha, like evil laugh, right? Evil genius laugh. Now I have all the power so I can continue control. It's a deconditioning process. I don't care how good you are. It is a deconditioning process. But the nugget I want you to take away today is that no matter what, when you are following strategy and authority, there is likely going to be fear there. And you're not going to get rid of that because we're always going to have some form of emotional fears, mental anxieties, and splenic fears. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It doesn't mean that you're off track. It doesn't mean that like you have to work harder at it. It's completely normal. What you need to do is have more discernment over the conditioning you're taking on because you're online and you're picking up this thing that's meant to be easy and flow and lit up constantly. And life is just meant to be like this one big like party. Life is kind of a party, but you're going to hit hard times, right? And when we develop and we embody the conditioning that inner authority means easy, that inner authority means that we're always lit up, that inner authority means that, it always feels good. All we do is paint more and more layers on the not self. All we do is take ourselves further and further away from our unique path. And then that's where we create the suffering. That's where we create resistance. And that's why so many people, I believe, end up at a place in their life where they have all the things they thought they wanted, that the not self wanted, and they pushed, sure, and they got those things, but then they end up at like midlife. They have all the things, the accolades, the friends they thought they wanted, the partner, the boat, the house, the 20 cars, all the things, and they're miserable. And they have illness and autoimmune issues and disease, and it's because they've been pushing so hard against their natural flow their entire life. And sure, in the moment, it felt really good. And it's because the not self mind, the monkey mind, was gaining more and more and more control. So in the moment, it felt good. For example, with the undefined Splenic Center, because the known reality is more comfortable than the unknown. Even if you're more miserable in the known reality, it is still more comfortable than the unknown because it's familiar. You know what to expect, even if it sucks. Even if you're unhappy, even if you almost puke every time you open up your bank account, even if whatever, you're not getting what you want or what you think you want, all the things, right? The known reality will always be more comfortable, more familiar, and have less survival fears because at least you can predict the shit that's going to go down, even if it sucks. So when we release control and we finally truly surrender, that's where your fears are usually popping up. It's not in alignment. It's not in following strategy and authority that it's just always fuzzy rainbows, butterflies, feel so good. It's especially, I'd say, in your first 7 years of the deconditioning journey, it is painful to make strategy and authority decisions because it is against everything you've been conditioned to believe. It is against who you think you are, the life you think you want, and everything that you've done up until this point. And it's against every motivating factor you've ever made to make decisions up until this point. And that is not comfortable. So your homework is to start looking at what is the motivation behind and below why you're making decisions. And do you have conditioning? Let me know in the comments. Do you have conditioning around, and have you absorbed conditioning that if I just follow strategy and authority, it's always going to feel good and I'll always be lit up and it'll be easy? And how does it feel to step into the unknown? And how does it feel to release control and know that it's not just okay to be fearful and nervous and afraid, but it's more common? And I am less concerned if I have a client come to me and be like, I'm going to puke, I'm nervous. Perfect, let's go. Let's do it. Let's hit the ground running. I am more concerned if I have a client that's like, oh yeah, baby, this feels so good. And this is the result I'm going to get. And this is why I'm doing it. And da, 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 da. I'm more concerned because I know that is the not self rather than a client that comes to me and says, this is the decision I'm going to puke. Trust yourself more. Start building the muscle that it is safe to still follow strategy and authority, even when you're nervous, even when you're afraid. But you have to start building the muscle now. All right, let me know what you guys thought. Share with me, how are you currently framing strategy and authority? And has this been a big aha moment? I want to hear from you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.